Get off my land before I call the real police. That's what Karen Sutherland screamed at me on property I legally owned a few hundred feet outside her precious HOA's reach. And yeah, she meant it too. See, as chairwoman of Meadowbrook Estates, Karen didn't care about facts or maps or the law. She cared about control, and when I refused to back down, she launched a war that would cost her everything. Her reputation, her freedom, even her grip on reality. What started as some petty harassment, it exploded into sabotage, fake police calls, and finally a wild attempt to impersonate law enforcement right at my front gate. But here's the thing. She picked the wrong guy. Let me back up a sec. The morning this all kicked off, sunlight poured through my cabin windows, that soft golden light that makes you think life's finally going to let you breathe. I was standing at the counter first, coffee in hand, birds singing, whole place smelling like pine needles and fresh starts. For the first time in a decade, I thought maybe, just maybe, I could call this place home. That's when a white SUV came tearing up the dirt road, dust flying way too fast for anyone with a good reason to be here. She stepped out like she owned the joint black suit, clipboard, mirrored sunglasses. Didn't even knock, just stomped up the steps. I'm Karen Sutherland, chairwoman of Meadowbrook Estates, HOA. We've had reports of code violations, and I'm here to address them immediately. I'll never forget how she shoved that clipboard in my face like it was a badge. I told her as calmly as I could, ma'am, you're not in charge out here. This land is outside your jurisdiction. She just laughed sharp cold like I'd said the dumbest thing she'd ever heard. Everything in this area falls under our control now. Boundaries change. She rattled off a list: unauthorized fence, unapproved shed wrong kind of gravel on the driveway. You've got 72 hours to comply or we take legal action. Now, what she didn't know, my day job before all this was as a real estate attorney. Boundary disputes, property rights, HOA overreach. I'd seen it all. So I calmly showed her my deed. My certified survey map, property line as clear as day. HOA ends here, my land starts here, over 200 feet of daylight in between. She barely glanced. Old maps aren't valid. We've expanded. I said, you can't just expand an HOA without a legal process, filings, approval. She shot back. I don't have to justify anything. This is more courtesy than most people get. Then she spun on her heel and stomped off, threatening to return with her legal team. Dust hung in the air after her SUV peeled out, and all I could think was, here we go. I called Fletcher, old friend, college roommate, now a licensed surveyor with a taste for HOA drama. He agreed to come out the next day and double-check everything just in case. That afternoon, I dug out a box. I'd barely unpacked: security cameras, fresh batteries. It wasn't just about peace of mind anymore. I mounted them everywhere. Front door, back gate, driveway, shed, all feeding straight to the cloud. Because folks like Karen, they don't stop at threats. The next morning, I woke up to yellow notices everywhere. Gate shed, even taped to my mailbox. Notice of violation, all caps, red letters. Livestock violations I didn't have. Livestock unauthorized structures, even failure to maintain aesthetic standards. Each one ended with a threat: comply or face immediate legal action. None of it real, none of it enforceable, but that wasn't the point. It was about making me feel like a trespasser on my own land. She followed up with a flood of emails, all from her legal team. Cease and desist demands for inspection, threats of $500 a day in fines. I started documenting everything. Photos, timestamps, folders full of evidence. When my phone rang, unknown number, I knew who it was. You have 24 hours to vacate or we'll proceed with forced removal, she said. I told her I was recording. She hung up. Fletcher rolled up that afternoon with his GPS kit and survey flags, and together we walked the entire boundary, every iron stake, every inch checked against county records. You're solid, he said. No shifts, no changes. Karen's just trying to bury you in paperwork. He handed me a motion sensor. If she tampers with these survey markers, you'll know. I believed him. I started to realize this wasn't just about a line on a map. This was about control. That night, headlights lingered on the edge of my property. My camera caught Karen plus two folks in reflective vests sneaking in at 3:14 a.m. They'd cut my lock with bolt cutters, crept around, measuring, taking photos, counting steps like they were mapping out a heist. 23 minutes, then gone. I saved that footage in triplicate, then called the sheriff's department and filed a trespassing report. The next morning, Karen came back with her inspection team, bold as brass, tried to barge in again. I met them at the gate, phone recording. "You're trespassing. I have video of you breaking in last night." She tried to bluff with a grainy photocopy, no seal, no signatures, claiming the property was part of their expansion zone. I called her bluff. She threatened to call the cops. "Go ahead," I said. When the deputy arrived, I handed him the deed, the survey, the footage of their midnight break-in. Karen tried to talk her way out of it, but the deputy wasn't buying it. "Internal HOA records aren't legal documents," he said, stone-faced. "Leave now or you'll be cited for trespassing." For the first time, Karen looked rattled. But did she stop? Nope. That night, my power was cut. Breaker panel lock snipped, every switch flipped off. Cameras caught two masked figures, one tall, one stocky, both moving like they'd done this before. The white SUV was parked in the shadows. All four tires on my truck slashed. Shed door spray painted in red. "Leave or else." Fence posts sabotaged, water line busted. Sabotage, not just harassment. When Sheriff Blackwell himself came out, he looked at the footage and the damage and shook his head. "Mr. Graves, this is organized criminal activity. You've got enough evidence for felony charges." He urged me to file for a restraining order and keep recording. So I did. By day 7, things got weird. A white van pulled up 4 people in dark blue uniforms, tactical vests, fake badges. Meadowbrook, HOA Enforcement Division. They waved a fake eviction notice, threatened to remove me by force. I called 911, put the dispatcher on speaker, made sure everything was recording. Karen arrived, still convinced her authority was absolute, until real law enforcement pulled up, sirens, lights, deputies jumping out. Sheriff Blackwell took one look at those plastic badges and said, "You're under arrest for impersonating law enforcement, criminal trespass, attempted unlawful eviction, and conspiracy." Karen turned white as a sheet. She still tried to talk her way out. I was protecting my community, but it was over. A couple days later, I was sitting across from the district attorney, turning over a USB drive with every piece of evidence footage. Phone calls, emails, timelines. She told me, "You did everything right. Most folks would have lost their cool or given up. You built a case that's going to set a precedent." Turns out Karen's little HOA kingdom had collapsed in less than 2 weeks, all because she couldn't handle someone saying no. Karen got 18 months probation. 200 hours of community service, had to pay over $8,000 in restitution, and she's banned from any HOA leadership for 5 years. The fake enforcement team got probation and fines. The HOA board fired Karen and sent me a letter of apology confirming my land was never in their jurisdiction. The local paper ran it on the front page, a warning about HOA overreach, and you know what? For the first time in a month, I slept without checking the cameras. Now it's quiet. No more yellow notices. No white SUV idling at the fence. No threats on the phone. The land feels like mine again, not a battlefield, just home. I've still got a box in the attic with all the documentation just in case, but I don't think I'll need it. Every broken thing is fixed. Every fence post is straight. The peace. This time, I earned it. So let me ask you, where do you draw the line between protecting a community and abusing power? Do you trust HOAs to do the right thing, or have you seen them go off the rails too? Drop your thoughts below and share this story if you know someone tangled up in HOA drama. And hey, stand your ground. Sometimes the law really is on your side.